Good morning, everybody. So for my Power Five this morning, what I want to talk about, it kind of ties into the word war that we had this whole year, and kind of as we wrap up this year, I wanted to talk about vigilance. So vigilance is the act or state of of keeping careful watch for possible dangers or difficulties. And I felt that this would be a good thing to talk about, especially wrapping up the year. And we've heard Jay's example when he was in Battle Challenge and everyone was all lined up and they were warned that they were going to be attacked. Nothing ever happened. So people weren't vigilant. They weren't paying attention. And all of a sudden this bald head popped out of the bushes and all chaos ensued. So one of the Bible verses, if you type into Google Bible verses on vigilance, there's like over 100 different verses talking about it. So the one verse that I wanted to talk about was Peter 5, verses 8 to 9. Be of sober spirit, be on the alert. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. But resist him firm in your faith, knowing that the same experiences of suffering are being accomplished by your brethren who are in the world. I felt this was a good verse, first of all, talking about being vigilant, being aware, but also going back a couple sermons about when it says to resist him and be firm in your faith. And Jay, he gave the example that when you're standing in a stream of water, that you need to keep your feet planted. And if there's anything that hits your leg from a different angle, that it could take away your traction, and then you're not able to stand firm. And with being vigilant, we need to be prepared. We need to be aware. We need to be on guard. We need to be ready to defeat an attack. We need to be ready to defend an attack. We need to be vigilant. Being vigilant is a full-time job. When you listen to music, the people that you're around, the shows that you watch. This past week, I was listening to a Christian artist, and I listened to their songs over and over. And then this week, something just clicked. Is they were talking about how to take your house back, your job back, your possessions back from the devil, and just declaring it. But what we've learned, the devil's not interested in your stuff, unless that's where your heart is, unless that's where you find your hope in. And if that's your point, you need to, as Jay's been talking about, you need to reload. You need to reflect. You need to look at where your priorities are. And then that ties in with being vigilant, that you're not just wandering through life just aimlessly, that you have a purpose, you have a point, you have a target. And if we're not vigilant, then we're not paying attention to how the devil can try to get into our lives. And it's those little pieces, like we were talking about the war of attrition, that once he gets in, he gets those little pieces into our hearts, into our minds. That's where that cancer grows. And that's where we start being led astray. So as we wrap up this week and wrap up this year, and as we go into this week, just make sure that we are vigilant in everything that we do from the moment we wake up to the moment that we go to sleep. Because there's a spiritual war happening every second of every day. And if we're not ready, we're not prepared, then we're not ready to fight. And we're called to fight. And I just encourage you this week as we go into it, that just be aware, be prepared, and be ready to fight and defend.